launch for you here so you can see just how fast this car is. Keep in mind, it is a wet day today, so it is what it is. Jesus. And there you go, guys. You're doing 90 miles an hour. How's it going, everyone? My name is Adam, and welcome to Driven Nashville. If you're new to the channel, we produce weekly enthusiast-driven car content. On this particular video, we're going to be focusing on this very nice crimson red Porsche Taycan Turbo S. This is the top spec Porsche, at least the EV top spec that they make. Now this car is for sale. It's for sale for about $185,000, and we're going to do a big shout out and thank you to Autobahn South in Brentwood for allowing me to review this car. This is not an easy car to get your hands on. If you go to Porsche today, I already asked Mike at Porsche Nashville, I said, hey Mike, if I wanted to order a Turbo S, what would it take? He said 8 months, maybe more. $215,000 MSRP too, so these are very expensive cars. Now, I have been basically an EV early adopter. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been driving EVs on the daily since 2019. I started with a black on tan, well, really black on black, Model X P100D, and that car went to my wife, and I got a Model S, which is the car Elon Musk drives. I got that last year, and that is the P100D. White on white, I featured both of these cars on the channel. Please feel free to check them out. I'll put the little link to them here. Now, I am excited to see how Porsche has been able to craft and engineer their own EV. This is very, very exciting for me. I gotta say, the Model S is a fantastic performance car. It does 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. This car does 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. This car also continues to pull, because it has 2 gears instead of 1, way past 90, where the Model S will kind of slow down a little bit. 0 to 60, 0 to 80, 0 to 90, it's unbelievably fast, right? Throws you back in your seat. This car actually keeps pulling way into 110, 120, 130 miles an hour. Eventually it does slow down a little bit with the wind resistance. Let's do this. Oh my God, that's so flippin' insane. The other thing that I was really surprised, and I think you're gonna see this when we do the point of view drive here in just a moment, is this car's build quality is absolutely superior to Tesla. I'm telling you. The panel gaps are virtually perfect, right? The way the steering wheel feels, there's no rattling. They've got double pane glass here, right? The brakes, oh my God, the brakes are 416 millimeters and they're 10 piston, which is actually one of the differences about driving this particular car and driving the Tesla, because the Tesla uses the motors, right? They regenerate when you take your foot off the accelerator. This particular car doesn't do that. It kind of coasts. It has a little bit, but it's not nearly as violent. I mean, honestly, when you're mashing the accelerator on the Model S, you rarely have to take any kind of brake pressure to slow yourself down. You can go from 80 to 50 or 80 to 30 in a turn very easily just by, letting the engine kind of regenerate. This car, on the other hand, you have to use the brakes, and that's why they put some of the biggest brakes in the industry. A little fun fact, these brakes right here, nobody makes a bigger brake except for the Bentley Bentayga. Yeah, they're that big, 16.4 inch brakes, they're huge. Okay, overall, I love the look of the car. I think it's sexy. I love that it's just got a very it still looks Porsche, kind of looks like the Panamera, right? But I like the styling. I like that everything's functional aero. I like the use of the spec here with the carbon fiber and the blacked out badges. I like the gloss black wheels. It looks like a really, really good car. It's got great road presence. I think it's really sexy, I gotta be honest. And then the interior quality, as you'll see here in some of the B-roll, it's just nails it, right? All the electronic screens, the passenger gets a screen too. The way the 18-way adjustable seats feel, they're so comfortable. The quality of the carbon fiber, the quality of the interior trim, the glass roof, the panel roof, it just feels like a quality car, guys. It really does. Porsche has got their, I mean, they've been building cars for a long time, right? They make one of the best quality, I'd say, or hands down, have maybe right there with Audi, right there with BMW, right there with Mercedes as far as the interior quality design. And this car, when you sit in it, it's quiet. It just feels like a luxury vehicle. I'm telling you, that's one thing that the Model S frankly sucks at. The interior is fine. It's very Spartan. It's modern. But at the end of the day, my car rattles, right? It just doesn't have that quality interior that you want when you're paying $130,000, $150,000 like the new Plaid is. You know, now before we go into the point of view drive, I wanted to talk a little bit about how this car is charging. Now, it's a couple of interesting features that this car is different than the Model S. The Model S has it in the rear quarter panel, right, where you basically open up the charge port. This car right here, you just kind of put your hand right here, and sometimes it's a little finicky, but this then slides up. Now you can do this, what's neat is you can do this on this side of the car, or you can also do it on that side of the car, which is kind of cool. Now this doesn't, you know, this is a different charging. Now one of the things that's interesting, this has a 93 kilowatt battery, whereas the Model S P100D has a 100 kilowatt battery. Tesla says you have a stated range a little over 200 miles. I'll be honest, if you're gonna have some fun with these cars, you're not gonna get 200 miles. My car, when I charged it yesterday, I charged it to 90%. I had to go to Clarksville. It was a lot of driving. I did 162 miles. I came home with 7%. So from 90% to 7%, right? I did 162 miles. Whereas when I left, my app said I had 240 plus miles of range. Grant you, I was doing 85 plus on the highway. I was running the heater a little bit, the heated seat, etc. So keep in mind, the stated ranges, unless you're just going 55 miles an hour with all the electronics turned off and you're not throwing the heater on, you could probably get it. Otherwise, in normal day-to-day driving, you're not going to. Now, the negative of this car, really, and I got to say this on camera, guys, there's not a lot of charging stations. You get 3 years with Electrify America. If you buy this particular car, they give you up to 30 minutes of free charging. That comes with the vehicle. It's stated right on the window sticker, which I'll go ahead and show here. You could also see some of the upgrades that this specific car has. But unfortunately, they just don't have the supercharger network that Tesla has. So this is going to be a lot more challenging, at least right now. Sure, there's electric stations all over the place, but a lot of the guys that I've been reading, they're having problems servicing them. A lot of the chargers are out. They don't go quite as fast. Now, if you take this to Porsche, right, they do have the quick charger, and they say that you can charge this car from 0 to 80% in something like 20 minutes. All right, guys, we've been here now about 26 minutes. As you can see here, we've got 49.5 kilowatts. Put the battery at 89% here, which gives us a stated range of over 200 miles. It's saying 225, 230 miles right now. So I think that's about enough for today as far as what I wanted to charge to get back to the dealership, but just wanted to show this to you. Hope this was helpful. It can take more voltage than Tesla can, but for the most part, what you're going to do is you're going to install a 240 volt charger in your garage, and you're going to, of course, have the adapter. It comes with a little extra large cable, and you're just going to plug it in at night. This car should charge from 0 to full in about 8.5 hours on a 240 volt, which is essentially a dryer outlet. So anybody who buys this car, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money to have an electrician come out, and if your house doesn't already come with that. But really, it's got enough range for the daily driver, but I think where this car is really going to suck, where Tesla is better, is going to be on them road trips. Now, let's go on, do a point of view drive here. I really want to show you guys how this car works, and hope you guys enjoy it. Please like and subscribe. Let's get on into this, shall we? You can see here, to put the car in drive, it's on the right here, and I'm going to try to shut up just for a second. Car has a different sound than Tesla. Now, you can go ahead and essentially put there is this sound that if you go ahead and go over to your settings, right now we're in drive mode normal, chassis and sport plus, the height is low as we can go, but there is this electric sound. I want to just turn it on for you. You hear that? That is different. Tesla doesn't have that. Okay, so I don't particularly like the sound. I prefer the quietness of this car. It has the double pane glass. Doesn't have any rattling going on. It's very high quality, like I said in the introduction. So really, my recommendation is to just turn that off. But I wanted to show you that you have that capability if you do like some type of a sound. Now, this is in Sport Plus mode, and let me tell you guys, this thing smokes. Holy Lord, all right? Unbelievably fast car. Like I'm telling you, this car is 918 fast. Okay, let me say that again. This is equivalent to McLaren P1s and the top cars from any manufacturer. This car is going to keep up with it, and in most cases, especially from 0 to 60, it's going to outrun it. These cars are so fast, right? And so is the Model S, and of course you know the Plaid is the fastest production car in the world currently. Now, where this car differs in the driving experience is there's no regenerative really braking, okay, with the motor. So you're gonna have to use the brakes a lot, especially a lot more than the Model S, like I mentioned in the initial introduction. But I gotta say, the way this car feels at speed, this feels like a true performance sedan, right? This is as good as the M5. It's as good as the M6 that I just reviewed. It's as good as basically any Porsche, performance product, any GT product. It just feels great. The dampening through the suspension, the way the brakes feel, the way it's got electric steering, but it gives you a lot of feedback. And it just feels really good. It's a very heavy car. It's 5,400 pounds, but you would never know it. And similar to the Model S, all of the weight is at the very, very bottom of the vehicle, right? So it just gives you a really low center of gravity, and it makes the car exceedingly fast. I mean, Jesus. I'm telling you, if you've got the balls to put this thing all the way to the floor, I mean, look at that. I'm doing 107 miles an hour, like that. It's so fast that, you really, really got to be careful, because, you can really run out of road fast. Whereas the Model S, as soon as you take your foot off of the accelerator, it slows down. This car, you've got to modulate the brakes, so you really got to make sure that you don't run out of road. But if you do need to hit the brakes, I mean, they will throw you through the freaking windshield. Porsche says they do a lot of the regenerative braking. Basically when you are braking, it charges the vehicle. I gotta say, I don't really know if that's, they say 80% it can be recharged. I don't know. I had regenerative braking in my old Infiniti Q50 Hybrid Sport, and that thing was terrible. Sometimes it would give you braking, sometimes it would give you regeneration. I have to say, I've had a couple of drives with the car at this point. The brakes are just great. I couldn't tell that they're generating any power, but I tell you what, you really got to use them with this car. You really, really do, guys, because the amount of performance that this car puts down and the fact that it pretty much coasts like an internal combustion car, you're going to be going through brakes pretty quickly. And I don't know how expensive 10-piston 416mm brakes are. Oh, God. I'm telling you, it's so fast. And it's so planted because it's heavy, and it's got 305 rear tires and 265 front tires, so quite a bit of rubber on it. As you guys know, the Turbo S is all-wheel drive, so, it's wet today, so we really can't push it too much, but I think you can still see that the car puts the power down, even in the wet conditions. I haven't broke traction once. It's absolutely fantastic. It's just fun to drive. Porsche really nails it, and listen, we're doing 90 miles an hour right now. Listen to how quiet it is. It's drama-free, right? Oh, God, you really got to get on those brakes, though. The car just does not slow itself down at all. I really like the interior quality. I really like the design of pretty much all of the electronic screens. This particular car, with one of the upgrades, it gives you the passenger screen over here, which they can actually control. It's kind of a gimmick, but it is kind of neat that the entire, basically, cockpit of the car is just a bunch of, LCD or TFT screens. They're really high quality, high resolution. Boy, I gotta say, this car is so much, it's so capable, guys. This car, you really gotta take it to the racetrack to exploit it. But I will say, if you're just looking to, have a great daily driver that's extremely fun and fast and capable, this car is going to be really hard to beat. I mean, if you can afford it, right? And frankly, for the guy who buys a Taycan Turbo S, I mean, he can afford it, right? I mean, $250,000, you probably have a whole fleet of Porsches in your collection. You probably have a 997 RS, right? You probably have maybe a 911 Turbo for the weekend outings, a nice convertible. And this is just basically your daily driver. So, if you're that guy, you're going to love this car. If you're looking at it from the point of view, is it better than a Plaid? I would probably give the Plaid the win because it's got the autopilot. Now, is the interior quality better? on the Plaid than the Model S that I have? Yes. Is it as good as Porsche's? No. The Porsche feels better. It's got just a better interior sound and quality to it. You know, I would say, you know, really, like I said, if you like the brand, you can't really go wrong either way. Tesla makes a fantastic product, but this car, you know, for Porsche's first attempt, is pretty damn good, guys. I gotta say. I mean, just look at how it's eating up this back road, and it's eating it up, you know, frankly, on a wet day, and it's doing it so drama-free, and it feels so good to drive. I mean, it is fast. I mean, Jesus. I mean, you know, you can hit 80, 90, 100 like nothing. Now, I will say, in this particular drive anyways, I haven't felt the dual clutch, or not the dual clutch, but I haven't felt the two clutches yet. It's got, you know, basically a low and a high rev gear. I shouldn't say clutch. It's got, you know, two gears, right? I haven't really felt the shift. You really only feel the shift when you're coming down into slower speeds. So when you're doing about less than, I don't know, I think I felt the downshift when I made that right-hand turn back there. You can feel it shifting, so it is kind of cool, but, you know, for the most part on this drive, it's just been in the taller gear, because I do think I've been, you know, keeping it above 50, 60 miles an hour the whole time. All right, I'm going to try to do a quick little launch for you here so you can see just how fast this car is. Keep in mind, it is a wet day today, so it is what it is. Jesus. And there you go, guys. You're doing 90 miles an hour. It is brutally fast, and you know, even on a wet day like today, we had a little bit of skidding, but then this thing just takes off like a freight train. It's just really unbelievable technology. It gives you the same type of scary, like, holy crap, you know, than the Tesla Plaid does, I gotta say. And the one thing about this car that's different than my Model S P100D is that it just keeps on pulling, right? It just pulls way past 90, 100. I mean, Porsche did a great job. They put a lot of extra engineering into their electric motors. They took, you know, the same technology that they use in their motorsports division, and they put it into the motor of this particular car. It is a little bit different than than Tesla went with theirs, and they just nailed it. I will tell you, the sound system in this car is world class. The Bose sound system is fantastic. It sounds incredible. It's got great highs, lows, and mids. The seats are so comfortable. You know, these 18-wage seats, you can really dial them in to exactly how you want. You could adjust the bolstering, you know, you could adjust the way they feel, pretty much, you know, so many ways. You know, I've got the lower lumbar cranked up right now. I've tightened the seat up a little bit on both the hips and on the upper back, mid-back, and it just feels like such a comfortable place to spend time. You know, from a point of view of a daily driver, I'm telling you, you're going to have a harder time buying a vehicle that gives you this level of looks and performance and comfort. You know, yeah, it's expensive, so you are paying for it, but I don't think you're going to be disappointed. All right, guys, I wanted to show the Inno Drive, what they call the innovative drive for Porsches here. It's basically their autopilot system. So in order to activate that, there's this switch right here on the bottom left. Hopefully you can see that. And you essentially just, you know, push it, you know, pull it forward, and that initiates it. And then you hit set, right? So right there, it's on. So you can now see that it takes a little second for it to kind of drift over, and then it starts to catch the lane. So it's fully driving right now. So I gotta say, it works pretty damn good. You can see here it says driver control required, right? So then you have to kind of give it the steering wheel a little bit of a tug. That's very similar to Tesla. But overall, it's driving itself. So on a road trip, this would be a feature that I use a lot. Now, I will tell you, when you go to switch lanes, it will do that for you. You can see how often this driver control comes up. Comes up a little bit more often than Tesla. So I'm now going to shift lane, so I've indicated. And it's actually not driving itself. Well, maybe it is. Hold on. Let me just manually get over here because there's somebody that wants to get out of my way. So there you go, right there. You know, it's not quite as dialed in as Tesla. So there you go. Now I'm back to it auto driving. So it's a little different where the line isn't lit up in blue and you can't navigate. But overall, if you're on a road trip, I do like this feature. You can see the steering wheel is actually turning, so it is driving itself. Works pretty good. You know, if a car comes up in front of you, it will slow itself down, so it's good for traffic as well. But in general, Tesla's autopilot system is definitely superior. That is something that, frankly, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and Porsche are all going to have to do their best to catch up on. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla just ends up leasing their technology to these companies, because they're so far ahead. If they can install the cameras and the tech, they could give you a lot of the same functionality. But as you can see, it does do the keeping in the lanes. It's pretty drama-free. Overall, it's nice. It's good for road trips. I would definitely use that feature a lot, and I wanted to make sure I showed that. Now, you can go ahead and turn it off just by pushing it down. You can engage it by pushing it up. You can go ahead and speed up, slow down. So once it's engaged, it gives you a lot of control. You can also control the distance here. You can make it so you stay really far back, or you can be on somebody's ass, right? So those are some of the fun features of the autopilot feature. They call it innovative drive. This car does have heated and cooled seats. That's an upgrade that they charge for. It's part of the premium package. So really, really nice, good technology. The seats will roast you, but they're not super uncomfortable. You can see here, I've got it. I'm still in Inno drive, and a little bit of a turn. Car, again, it's doing it, but it's not quite as good as Tesla. Tesla will literally navigate pretty much any road these days. So from that point of view, like I said, all the manufacturers are going to have to spend some time catching up. And the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is, we left the dealership with about 190 miles of range. We have actually done about 45, 50 miles, and we are already showing 92. So with a little bit of spirited driving, similar to where a gas car will burn a lot of fuel when you're on the accelerator or on the gas pedal, right? This car is going to burn a lot of electricity. That's what I said earlier in the introduction. Be careful with the stated range. Well, I really want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the point of view drive. Brian and I really love producing these videos. I think I've got over 100 videos on the channel now. I'd really appreciate your subscription. I've always been a huge car enthusiast. I got to say, to sum up this car, I think it's great looking. I think that you can get it now for $185,000. It's not quite as expensive, which is a plus. I think this is a fantastic spec. I love the carmine red with the black interior with the black wheels and the yellow calipers. It's a really good looking car, this specific one. I just like the details. I like the way the front end looks, I like the carbon fiber. I love the interior build quality. The only really negative of the car, the performance is out of this world, right? The only negative is you are early adapting, right? You're an early adopter. So you're gonna have some challenges with where you're gonna charge the vehicle, how you're going to get from A to B if you're going to try to take a road trip. But if you're just looking for a fantastic daily driver, if you love how, Porsche's quality, you like the brand, right? The pedigree, the way it feels. It feels like a performance car. Now, I will be honest, the Model S does too, but this is just another level, right? The chassis tuning that Porsche does, right? And the way they engineer the brakes and just everything, it is a better performance car. It just is, right? It's more expensive. But in the end of the day, I do think you're going to get a different driving experience, right? Just the way it sounds and feels. It is a level above Tesla. It's just honest. But here's the thing: it doesn't have autopilot. You saw what we call the innovative drive that Porsche has here. So it does keep you in the lane, but it's just not as good as Tesla. Tesla is literally to the point now where you can pretty much self-drive from A to B, side roads, back roads, right? You can summon the car in a parking lot. That stuff actually works now. It's 2021, it's almost Christmas. So, it's taken them years and years to get that down. Porsche is definitely behind the game there. So that's a negative. So if you drive the Model S Plaid and you drive this, you're most likely, unless you're just a huge diehard Porsche enthusiast, going to go with the Model S Plaid just because of the autopilot and the supercharger network. However, this is a fantastic car, I gotta say. If you love Porsche, if you love the drive, right, if you really like the interior sound, the quality of this car, the Plaid's gotten a lot better. I did a review on that, but this car still is damn good. It really is, guys. Please click the link at the bottom if you're interested in the vehicle. It should actually be sold. I think there's somebody who's pretty hot for the car right now, so it probably will be sold by the time this review actually drops. I do want to thank Autobahn South again. We are looking forward to a long partnership with them. We're going to try to do 1 to 2 car reviews. They always have incredible inventory. And if you're watching this, please comment. You know, we'd love to read comments. You know, build the community up, guys. We really appreciate that. If you want to comment, you know, if you have something negative to say, by all means. But overall, you know, if I said something wrong, you know, call me out, correct me, so we can all learn together. And that's the whole point, I think, of YouTube is just building the community up. And I'd love your subscription. You know, we're doing our best to continue to drive weekly car content, and the more likes that we get, we just put every dollar we make from this channel right back into, you know, more hardware, more gear, more traveling, etc. But overall, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. For me and Brian, this is it. We'll see you guys. This is a drone flyaway. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.